For over 40 years, Pakistan has done something that very few nations in history have ever done. It opened its doors, its borders, its schools, its hospitals, its markets to millions of Afghans escaping war, collapse and uncertainty. But today, as Pakistan recalibrates its repatriation policy, much of the world is asking, why now? Why send them back? And the truth is simple. No country can host a refugee population for almost half a century without deep, lasting consequences. This is not just a humanitarian story. This is a story about state capacity, security, economics, and sovereignty. Let's go back to 1979. The Soviet invasion triggered one of the largest refugee crises of the 20th century. Pakistan, despite its own struggles, opened its borders without hesitation. 3 million Afghans entered, many stayed. Some have lived in Pakistan longer than their homeland has been at peace. And even today, about 3 million Afghans remain, many undocumented. Western commentary often frames this as they've lived all their lives in Pakistan, so they belong. The international law, however, is clear. Long-term presence does not equal naturalization. Naturalization is a deliberate choice rooted in legal, demographic and economic planning. Pakistan never opted for that model. It opted for temporary protection driven by the Cold War, regional instability and humanitarian necessity. For decades, Pakistan upheld compassion when richer nations tightened their borders. But compassion has a cost. Millions of refugees mean millions of pressures on jobs, on housing, on schools, on water and electricity, on policing and public services. In Karachi alone, authorities estimate over 400,000 undocumented Afghans. This influx strains an already stretched urban system. Now let's be clear, no country, neither the United States, nor France, nor Germany would allow such a long, unregulated presence. Yet, Pakistan did. For 40 years. Now let's address what many avoid: national security. Cross-border militancy has cost Pakistan tens of thousands of lives. Groups like the Fitna al-Khawarij have repeatedly used Afghan territory as sanctuary. Even Western media has acknowledged Afghan-linked involvement in, number one, the Islamabad courthouse attack, rising arrests connected to smuggling and terror facilitation, trafficking networks operating from unregulated settlements. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Terrorism no longer requires armies. It requires small clusters of individuals moving silently across borders. Pakistan's concerns are not rhetoric. They are data, patterns, verified threats. Every sovereign nation has the right and the responsibility to regulate who resides within its borders. Most Afghan refugees live peacefully, but decades of informal settlements created pockets where state authority became thin. Now, in these zones, criminal networks have thrived. Smuggling, narcotics, extortion, human trafficking, you name it. Refugee status became a shield, intentionally or unintentionally, for those exploiting Pakistan's open-door policy. This year alone, Afghan-linked arrests have surged far beyond earlier trends. A system that once worked is now at its limit. Now let me be clear, Pakistan's shift is not emotional, it's logical. After 40 years, the threat landscape has changed. Repatriation is not retaliation. It is reasserting control, enforcing immigration laws, essentially closing the loopholes terrorists have exploited. This policy is aligned with international migration norms, the practices of Iran, the US, the European Union, voluntary return frameworks, documentation-based screening, and yet Pakistan is the one most heavily criticized. Iran has deported over 1.5 million Afghans this year. Western nations have halted visas, blocked asylum pathways, and re-evaluated Afghan claims. But the criticism, disproportionately if I may add, lands on Pakistan. Now this selective outrage ignores one fact. Pakistan has hosted Afghans longer than Afghanistan has been stable. No country can sustain this forever, not morally, not economically, not securely. Pakistan is not pushing Afghans into a void, it is urging the international community and Afghanistan's authorities to, number one, stabilize Afghan economy, then reintegrate returning families, invest in cross-border development, share the humanitarian burden, and cooperate on counter-terrorism. After 4 decades, Pakistan is choosing sovereignty over sentiment. Now this is not anti-Afghan, this is not anti-refugee. This is reality. A nation of 240 million cannot indefinitely absorb another nation's instability. Pakistan's message is clear. We did our part, longer than anyone else. Now Afghanistan must take responsibility for its citizens, and the world must support sustainable solutions instead of expecting Pakistan to carry this burden forever. Repatriation is not hostility, it is necessity, it is sovereignty, and it is long overdue. Thank you for watching.